Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever, whenever you're listening to the show. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, British by birth, American by choice, and welcoming you to episode 214 of Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. For those of you listening live, my apologies, I did get started a little late, some technical difficulties again, just when you think you've got everything under control. The technology rears its ugly head again, but we're live now. If you are able to join us live, thank you for joining us. And for those of you that are listening to the recordings, it won't make any difference because they just go out at the time that you pick them up. Or if you're listening via Red State Talk Radio, then of course the same thing, it goes out according to that schedule. And don't forget, Red State Talk Radio is being fed to KTFL in the Phoenix area, WMQL in Brevard, North Carolina. And I think there's a number of stations, a number of transmitters, about 7 I'm told, that WMQL goes out on. So plenty of opportunity for those of you in North Carolina to listen. And the next one, joining the Red State Talk Radio stable, there's going to be another station in Texas. But as soon as I know more details, I will let you know about that. And I'd like to say hi to Rex. I see he was there. He was getting worried. No, Rex, like I said, technical difficulties. Had to restart my computer, and it takes forever to get it started up again. Anyway, we've got plenty of topics for tonight, and I'm going to go straight in to the main one. The breaking news today was that emails which have been retrieved through a Freedom of Information Act request have proved that the White House was actually behind the whole video story, the fact that the Benghazi attack was the result of the video. That proof has now surfaced, and apparently I think the Deputy Director of National Security was the person that was whose fingerprints are most on that. But as somebody famously said, the buck stops here, and it is definitely the White House that provided that false information. And on top of that, not only was that Deputy Director perhaps responsible for the actual changing of the message, but even after he must have known, our dear leader went on to several TV shows, including The View, and I can't remember whether it was Leno or Letterman, but on both of those shows continued this story of the video. And basically, one of the things that's come out of the emails, the real reason for that was they did not want to show that the policy of the regime, the policies were failing. And basically, that's what Benghazi did. So they had to have it associated with this video. So they lied. They lied to the American people. They sent Susan Rice out there, and I don't know whether she was complicit or just a useful idiot, but basically she lied on behalf of the administration. King Barry himself lied to the American people, looked us in the eye and lied to us. Folks, why do we accept this? Why do we accept a leader? Well, can't really call him a leader. Why do we accept someone who calls himself president lying to us? If there's anything that I would say are high crimes and misdemeanors, that's lying to the American people. And you know what high crimes and misdemeanors means? Yes, it means that impeachment is not just necessary but an absolute requirement. Now, will anything happen? Of course not. Mainstream media is going to sweep this under the rug. Nothing going on here. Just move along. Nothing to see, because they can't afford for their darling to be hurt in any way. But let's face it, this is really, really bad that the White House was involved with this. And like I said, not just the White House, but the incumbent. The resident in that building was absolutely implicated in spreading that same lie himself. Not just his minions, but he himself as well. And that is proven with these emails. So, folks, what are we going to do about it? How about we call all of our congressmen, especially those that have Republican congressmen and senators, and tell them, we want you to take action. Now is the time to take action, because now you have the proof. But is anything going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the GOP will take action. I don't think they'll even try. And they're just going to let this blow over like the weak, wishy-washy, lily-livered people that they are. They're just going to let it blow over and not take this opportunity. There'll be a few like Ted Cruz who are going to stand up and say something should be done about it, but nothing will actually happen. And quick shout out to Paul, who's joined us in the chat room as well, and I want to thank Paul for sending me a message. At the bottom of the hour, I play a little jingle. It tells you how to contact me, and Paul used the contact page on my website to send me a message, and he was talking about the fact that Herman Cain and Sarah Palin meet with my approval, and most certainly, especially Sarah Palin. She has experience as a governor and as the mayor of Wasilla. She really has executive experience. Herman Cain has business executive experience, and I think he would make a great cabinet member and get some Washington experience. But I'm not happy with bringing in someone who doesn't have that political executive experience. Look at our current person in the White House, and as Rex said, not incumbent, but the resident incompetent, and I think that's a good term. So the resident incompetent also had basically no political executive experience. He just came up the ranks, never really did anything in his political life, and so I think that's a dangerous combination. So Herman Cain, yes, I like his ideas. I think he has a lot of good ideas. I think he has good business experience, which is important in the government, but I don't think as chief executive. I think he needs to get some experience in Washington, and like I said, I think he'd be a very good cabinet member. And Sarah Palin would be a much better chief executive, but of course, with her falsely given reputation, I think it would be difficult to get her in the White House in 2016. But again, if she could be given a cabinet post like Department of Energy and work out how to slim that down and get rid of half of the people there. That would be a great introduction, and she could prove her worth there, and then perhaps 2020 or 2024 move on and take over that particular role. So here we are, folks. It's a White House that lies to us. We've seen that so many times, but they continue to lie to us, and now we have proof. Will anything happen about it? Anyway, let's think that's enough for right now for that rant. I'm going to go on to something which I think is a little bit of good news. And the good news that I want to talk about is an article that I read which talks about the ability for the GOP to actually win in 2016. The writer of the article starts off by saying that two highly intelligent political analysts. I don't like that terminology because when you see the names, well, definitely one of them, Bill Kristol and Peter Wehner. Well, Bill Kristol, I know he's way too middle of the road. Maybe he is intelligent, maybe he is a political analyst, but I don't like his analysis. But he has every right to express it. And apparently these two analysts have written columns predicting Republican success in 2014. Well, with the mess that the Democrats are making of everything right now, the only way that they're going to have any chance of success in 2014 is by total voter fraud. And I think we're watching out for it. But as I've said before, join True the Vote and do your best to help prevent that voter fraud. But they said success in 2014, but defeat in 2016. And the writer goes, wow, we're not even in that cycle yet, and already the GOP chances are being written off. Well, I agree with the writer in that respect. Now, one of the articles that was written actually takes information from something that was written by a well-respected Democratic analyst. And of course that means, Democratic analyst, so he's got his axe to grind. And the analysis, they say, is thorough and cites facts that do not bode well for Republicans, namely the blue wall, as they call it, of states that have voted Democratic in every presidential election since 1992. That's one thing. Number two, the increase in women's votes. Of course, that's influenced by the so-called war on women that the Democrats always blame on the GOP. And the third point is the Republican inability to make inroads with young people and minorities. And therefore, the GOP coalition is shrinking. And the writer agrees with that. I agree with that. I think it is. But then they say it is far too early to throw in the towel. There is reason for optimism in 2016, despite the cold reality of the trends just mentioned. Now, let's start with the fact that it is hard for a party to win 3 national elections in a row with a non-incumbent heading the ticket. That's only happened 3 times since the beginning of the 20th century, 1908, 1928, and 1988, when Bush succeeded Reagan. In all 3 cases, the incumbent was enormously popular, public attitudes were positive, and the party in power's candidate vowed to carry on the policies of his predecessor. Can you see Hillary coming in and vowing to carry on the policies of her predecessor? I doubt it. Obama has got an approval rating of 43% and is likely to go down. Thanks to his policies, the economic recovery is limping along at best. unemployment and deficits will remain high, growth will remain low, so very little in the way of jobs. And all of the jobs that are coming are mainly low-paying jobs. And let's see, Obamacare will have an impact, right? Because premiums are going to continue to rise, medical choices are going to be reduced, doctors are going to drop out, the death panels are going to come into force, and certain treatments are going to be taken off the table. So who's going to campaign as Obama's heir and successor the way Bush 41 did in 1988? Hitler? I doubt it. The writer of the article suggested perhaps Joe Biden might. Well, he's so stupid. Yeah, he might. And so basically, the president is probably going to be as toxic for Democrats in 2016 as he will be in November of this year. Now, so what's the good news? Well, the rest is up to us as Republicans and conservatives. We will have to come up with a transformative message if we're going to complete the job and get a Republican president. The utter failure of this collectivist mindset regime that Obama's been leading provides that opening. Let's focus on economic opportunity, individual achievement, and that should be the core of an inclusive philosophy that seeks to offer the new coalition of the ascendant, the ability for people to achieve their dreams and ambitions. And believe me, that will resonate with the minorities as much as anything else will. Government policies must facilitate this goal, not impede it. In other words, get the government out of the way. Another thing to negate the blue wall, Republicans must campaign in states that have been off limits for 2 decades. And they'll have to be on college campuses, and will have to really compete for the votes of the non-Caucasian minorities. Now, the establishment is going to suggest an enhanced status quo strategy of squeezing every last ounce out of our existing coalition. But as that coalition is shrinking, that's not going to work. We did that in 2004, and it's not going to work now. And apart from anything else also, it won't help conservatives to govern successfully in this century. We have to come up with a good message, because it isn't just about winning the vote, it's about being successful after that. For those who think such a forward strategy cannot succeed, let's look at what Reagan did in the 1980 presidential election. In 1980, he was not the transformative figure that he eventually became. In 1979, he was mostly unknown and thought to be too old. By the way, Hitler would be 1 year younger than Reagan if she were elected in 2016. Reagan was thought to be unsophisticated in the ways of governing and far to the right of the political mainstream. Yet, President Carter was unpopular, just as Obama is today. However, Carter was thought to be a solid bet to win the South, which was Reagan's strongest area when the vote came up, and the region most compatible with Republican priorities. Labor and big city Democratic machines were formidable in preserving Democratic dominance in the big industrial states in the Northeast and Midwest. Like today, self-identified Democrats far outnumbered Republicans in national surveys. In fact, the gap was much greater then, exceeding double digits most of the time. The party still suffered from the effects of Watergate and the resignation of a president driven from office by a by a bipartisan consensus. Yet, Reagan won an overwhelming victory because he campaigned everywhere, including New England, Harlem, working-class wards in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and throughout the South, with the message that won support from young people, working-class voters, conservative Christians, and groups that were all outside the Republican coalition at the time. So here we are. Confirmation. We need a good message, and we need to campaign everywhere. And let's go away from this thing of saying, oh, well, we've only got to focus on the swing states. We've only got to focus on this. Let's go out to these other places and let's vote for that. He focused on values that appeal to all Americans who were searching for hope and a distinctly different approach to solving Americans' problems. Years later, Reagan summed up his way of looking at America: our destinations are more important than our origins. And that still sums up the difference between the two parties. And it is the conversation we must have if we're going to compete seriously in 2016 and beyond. And by the way, this was written by Frank Donatelli, a long-time Republican activist who served in the Reagan White House. So he knows what he's talking about. I think it's a great message. We can win. All we got to do is go out there and campaign everywhere and have the right message. Okay, folks, it's time for the commercial break here. So if you will stick with me, I will be right back after these messages.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance policy? Have you shopped your current plan in the last year? If you haven't, then you probably are paying too much. You could save up to 40% on your current car insurance coverage just by making a free call right now. Doesn't it make good sense to pay less for something you have to pay for anyway? And car insurance is one of those things. You got to have car insurance, whether you have one car or 10 cars. So why not see if you can pay a lot less for it right now? One quick 3-minute call, and you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. We'll compare the leading car insurance companies and get you coverage that could save you up to 40% on your car insurance. Call now for a free quote. Call 800-603-9980. 800-603-9980. 800-603-9980. 800-603-9980. That's 800-603-9980.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom112.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom112.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom112.com. Go to freedom112.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom112.com.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And thank you for sticking with me through that break. Let's see, I think it's time. Let's move on to the next topic. And I have a very quick one here, but I thought this is a great summary of Obamacare, the broken window theory of Obamacare. Here is a very simple way to explain how insidious Obamacare is. And also, so the writer of this is, why did millions sign up for Obamacare? Well, take this analogy. Pretend the government started selling car windshields and then mandated everyone own government-approved car windshields. And then government employees came to punch out your car window. And then everybody would have to buy government car windshields to replace the punched out windows, and the government would declare that their idea to sell car windows was a huge success. Think about it, folks. Isn't that just the way Obamacare works? Anyway, okay, on to the next topic. And a lot of the time people ask me, Stefan, what can we do? There's not a lot that we can do. I'm just a single person and what I do doesn't count. Well, here's something small that you can do to support other conservatives. Apparently, the left are attacking major conservative sites, trying to shut down conservative speech. And the person that wrote this says, could anything be more un-American? What's next? Burning books by conservative authors. Now, this was written about a particular site, Barracuda Brigade blog. But this can apply to many other sites as well. And what they do, they gather on social media, select a target, and then a swarm of them, they put posts on their on Facebook, and then they have they look for conservative posts that relate to those sites. And then they start reporting these sites to Facebook as spam. Now, spam looks at all these reports coming in, and what they do now, they actually generate a warning message for anyone attempting to link to that site from a Facebook posting. So here's what you can do. If you get that warning, simply mark the site as not spam. If you want to take a little bit more effort, there's a link there that allows you to send a message to Facebook and just say you think that this has been done by people who are actually trying to shut down conservative sites. If you want to share one of these links, you will also get a security warning check with one of those capture boxes where you get 5 or 6 letters all written in a very funny way that you have to type in just to show that you're not a machine. And so fill in the capture box and submit the post. And also in that box, very definitely, you have a link where it says, if you think you're seeing this by mistake, please let us know. And let Facebook know. Now, we all know Facebook is very left-wing, but if enough people react and say this is left-wing trolls who are trying to mess things up, that will perhaps be enough to convince them to take away these interruptions to our service. And therefore, the writer of this article said, please take these steps when you go there, because it helps defend the conservative sites and give some positive feedback to counteract the leftist swarm attack. In these battle of ideas, we have to have each other's back, and I would very definitely salute for that. Well, let's see. We've got a couple of minutes before the next commercial break. I'm not sure if I'll get through everything here, but I do have to bring in a few words about the whole Donald Sterling fiasco. As we know today, he was banned for life from the NBA. He's not allowed to attend things. He's not allowed to have anything to do with the business. Notice this is all done without any kind of court case. And basically it means he will have to sell the team. And of course, because he's forced to sell, he's going to have to sell it at a much reduced price. Well, I suspect if he's clever that there will be a court case on this, because by putting this draconian fine and draconian result on on him, basically taken away the value and taken away a lot of money. I think they said the franchise was worth 70 to 80 million, and he'd be lucky to get 10 to 20 right now for it. So I hope that he does sue the league, because at the end of the line, basically, let's face it, he did nothing illegal. He was expressing some thoughts in private that were made public by someone who very obviously did not have his best interests at heart. But he didn't advocate killing anyone. He didn't advocate hurting anyone. He didn't do anything negative in that way. All he did was express an opinion. And for that, he's going to lose $60 million. Like I said, I would very definitely say, folks, time for a nice hefty lawsuit. But before we get there, if I can find the right thing, unfortunately, it's time for another commercial break. Got to pay the rent, so I will be back after these messages.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish, because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-865-5017. That's 1-800-865-5017. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-865-5017 for details.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-915-9734. 800-915-9734. That's 800-915-9734. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And thank you for sticking with me through that break. We're now into the second half of the show. Before we get back to just a few more comments on the Sterling situation, and I'm sure everybody, there's been so much in the in both the mainstream media, Fox News, and so many other areas, but there are still a couple of things I would like to say. But before we do that, I just want to thank Rex and Paul for being in the chat room today. Anyone else who's listening live, if you go down to the bottom of the screen in the right-hand corner, there's a little green speech bubble, it looks like. If you click on that, it will open up the chat room. And feel free to let me know that you're there. It's nice to know who's there. You can put questions and comments there on the topics in the show as well. For those of you that are not listening live, and I have to admit most of my listeners do actually listen after the fact, here's some information on how you can contact me, because if you've got comments on what I say, if you've got questions about some of the things I bring up, love to hear from you. And so please use one of the means in this next little jingle. If you would like to comment on any of the topics discussed on the show, please email me via stefan@patriotcomelately.us or go to the show's website www.patriotcomelately.us and click on the contact button. You can also write your comments on the show's Facebook page. Just search in Facebook for the Patriot Come Lately Show. And so, yes, please do contact me. Love to hear from you. And as you heard earlier in the show, I will sometimes even bring the topic up, unless you tell me not to, but otherwise bring up your topics in the show, and we can have a quick discussion about what my listeners like to bring to the table. So. And as I don't have a dial-in capability since I moved from Blog Talk Radio, I am working on it, but with the move to Georgia, I've been so busy, haven't had an opportunity to do it, so it'll be a few more weeks, unfortunately, before I get it done, but I am hoping to get that set up and working in the in the medium term. So before we go on with Rod Sterling, I'm going to play some music. I haven't played this for a long time, and I think it's something. It's a great song, and it's kind of inspiring to us all. And given the earlier topic about how we have a chance in 2016 if we do the right thing, let's get inspired by this song to go out and do just that, do the right thing. So, like to do that if you wouldn't mind, and then after this song, it's that great song from Avast, and we'll continue with a couple of comments about the Sterling situation.
Time to stand up, time to speak out. We've got to country's us, and we're taking it back. We the people. For the people, by the people, we've gotta fight to get it back. Gotta reach out, get the thieves out. This country's us, and we're taking it back. We the people. Time to stand up, time to speak out. We've gotta fight to get it back. Gotta reach out, get the thieves out. This country's us, and we're taking it back. We the people. We the people.
And that is the lovely Ava Aston. Be sure to get her music, that great song, but also other great songs at her site, avaaston.com. And hardly recommend that, but of course this, I always find this song very inspiring, kind of a Tea Party anthem. And, you know, occasionally we need that inspiration, but we're going to do it in 2016. Anyway, let's go back to the Sterling thing. And as I said before, all the breaks, you may be getting a little bit sick of it, but there are a few things I do want to say. At the end of the line, with all the recordings, and apparently it's over 100 hours of recordings, where this guy was expressing lots of similar ideas. Basically, he's a racist. However, today, right now, being a racist is not illegal. Remember the First Amendment, you can have your opinion. It is illegal to act upon it, but I don't think he did. I mean, he was paying his black players a lot of money, millions of dollars. All of the people that worked for him at the Clippers organization of many different colors and hues and races, he was paying them, so he never actually did anything. Now, he's very stupid, but it's not against the law to be stupid, right? He didn't advocate any acts of violence against black people. He hasn't wished for their death. He hasn't tried to raise up a paramilitary force to go to war against black people. And he has not perpetrated violence against white people. Now, let's look who might have done that, but not against black people, against white people. Yes, the Black Panther leader, Shabazz. Remember, he said, let's kill us some crackers, amongst other things. He was indicted, and actually, I think even in a court, was found guilty of intimidating voters at the polls. If that's violence against white people, I don't know what else might be. So here we have two racists. One white, one black. One rich, one not. One who openly advocates violence and murder against the other's race, and one who, as far as we know, doesn't. Both are racist, both are butt stupid, and neither of which, regarding the two tapes, have broken the law in expressing themselves. However, Shabazz has broken the law and was found guilty in a court, but Holder dismissed it for no real reason other than the guy was black. Folks, that shows how bad this country has become, that we even allowed something like that to happen and didn't kick Holder out at that time. So remember, Shabazz breaks the law, but do you hear people like Trump, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, even Dear Leader speaking out against Shabazz? No. But he actually broke the law. Donald Sterling, as I said before, did not. Anyway, so that's all I have on that for the moment. Let's see how we're doing for time. Okay, we're coming up to the final commercial break, and then we've got another couple of things to run through before we finish for tonight. So here we go. Is it? It's almost time there, and let's see. We'll have to make sure that we're ready for that. Okay, folks, time for the break, and I will be back after this final set of messages.
Are you at least 62 years old like me? Could you use an extra $50,000, $100,000 or more to live a better life? Then please consider the benefits a reverse mortgage can provide to you. With a reverse mortgage, you can have your mortgage payments stopped altogether and get equity out of your home to live on. And you can use the money to help you live a better life. How nice would that be, not to have a mortgage payment? Qualifying for a reverse mortgage is simple, since there are no income, asset, employment, or credit requirements. However, you must be 62 years or older, own your home outright, or have a very low balance on the mortgage, and be prepared to live in it throughout the rest of the loan. Call now for more information.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-259-1409. 1-800-259-1409. 1-800-259-1409. That's 1-800-259-1409.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us.
Patriot Come Lately. British by birth, American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
Okay, we're into the last segment of the show. This is Stephen, your Patriot Come Lately, British by birth, American by choice, and proud of it. Okay, some quick examples of liberal hypocrisy. Every week I say, folks, I'm trying to be positive, and I don't really want to bring these up, but they throw these zingers at me, and I sort of think, oh, I just got to use this. So apologies for that. So let's go with the first one. The first one is John Kerry, who was caught. I don't know if it was on a off mic comment or something recorded somewhere, but basically threatening Israel and calling them an apartheid state. Well, of course, that's a reference to South Africa and how South Africa was shunned by the rest of the world because of its apartheid. Now, the left has this crazy story that Palestinians in Israel are second-class citizens. That's not true at all. They can vote. They have every same rights as every Israeli citizen. But of course, the Palestinians outside Israel want to have all of the Israeli land, and they're shut out. that's something else. But the people inside Israel are not discriminated in any way, and therefore, but that doesn't fit the leftist message. So anyway, so he did that. He's now trying to walk it back, and what I wanted to say here is the whole hypocrisy of the thing. It's the usual thing on the left. They'll say something outrageous, and then when they get called on it, they say, well, I didn't really mean it that way, and he's now trying to walk it back. He would like to rewind the tape because he said he expressed himself wrongly. Yeah, right. I mean, it shows the mindset of this regime, and that goes right from the top downwards, and John Kerry thinks exactly that way, like all of them, just like everybody else. So so that's one thing. Then the next item of liberal hypocrisy is the fact that Media Matters, that well-known left-wing group that is a C3 but is very active politically, but nobody at Department of Justice or the IRS seem to check into them. But anyway, that's something else. The employees at Media Matters would like to unionize, and that seems very logical thing to do. After all, they get a lot of support from the SEIU, they get a lot of money from them, and Media Matters supports SEIU in trying to have card check campaigns organized at other companies. Well, SEIU did that at Media Matters, and now they are totally ignoring the fact that was done. So the quote from the SEIU says, "The actions of Media Matters executives have placed employees in the impossible position of continuing to produce content espousing pro-labor values for an employer who is challenging our right to unionize." So again, folks, left-wing hypocrisy. And for the final item in tonight's show, Postmaster General Patrick Donahoe doesn't regard American taxpayers, and we are the ones who subsidize the U.S. Postal Service, as the agency's primary customers, according to a new report. "You disrupt my service and we will never work with you," Donahoe told Outbox founders Evan Baer and Will Davis. "You mentioned making the service better for our customers, but the American citizens aren't our customers. About 400 junk mailers are our customers. Your service hurts our ability to serve those customers." Well, that's a pretty strong statement. So they're just serving 400 junk mailers and not the American people. About time that guy got told which side of his bread it's buttered, because he's totally out of line. But again, just another typical lefty who's doesn't know who he's working for and who's actually paying the bills. Okay, folks, we're getting to the end of the show. I'm hoping next week to have a Common Core event on. And, here we go. Having a Common Core event on. I'll have an interview with someone. Hope to have that done for next week. So time to go, folks. The music is starting. So I will say, join me next week if you can. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide, so please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.